Joining me is AICC General Secretary and Party in charge of Karnataka, Randeep Surjewala sir. Thank you for speaking to us, sir.
Namaskara, and it's always a pleasure to be on TV9.
Sir, my first question to you is, आजकल आप लोग लोटा लेके बहुत घूम रहे हो, इंग्लिश में टम्बलर और कन्नड़ा में चंबू. आप भी पानी के लिए प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हो और इज इट समथिंग एल्स?
There is now the Bharatiya Chombu Party versus Congress guarantee model. So, BJP denies 18,172 crore of drought relief to Karnataka and says take Chombu. BJP denies 58,000 crores of 15 Finance Commission money to Karnataka, says take Chombu. Every 100 rupees that Kannadiga give, BJP government of centre only returns 13 rupees and commits huge injustice to Karnataka. That's the Chombu model. BJP denies 6,000 crore of Bhadra Dam money which was announced in Union Budget, and this is the Chombu model. BJP denies peripheral road 30,000 crore to Bengaluru and only gives a Chombu. On the other side, Congress gives commitment of guarantees which we have promised, we have delivered. Be it Greh Lakshmi, 2,000 rupees to every woman every month, Greh Jyoti, 200 units of current free, Anna Bhagya, 4 crore 49 lakh people getting 10 kgs of rice money equivalent every month in their account. Shakti scheme, 35 lakh women travel every day free in our buses, or the Yuva Nidhi where youth gets a monthly stipend. So, there is the Bharatiya Chombu Party's Chombu model and the Congress guarantee model.
26 MLAs of the BJP are saying that it's only Congress who is saying this. Otherwise, the centre has given everything. It is a creation of the Congress in Karnataka.
BJP's 27 MPs, may I correct, because one independent had also gone to them. Their work is only a Kali Chombu. Had they spoken a line about the interest of Karnataka, had they ever raised the issue of injustice to Karnataka, have they ever met the Prime Minister demanding release of 18,000 crore for Raita Bandhu? This money is not for Congress or BJP. This money is for Kannadigas. This money is the tax paid by Kannadigas deposited in National Disaster Relief Fund. We are not asking for bheek. We are asking for our right. 58,000 crore share in 15th Finance Commission is the tax that Kannadigas deposited to Central Kitty. 6,000 crore of Bhadra Dam is the money that Kannadigas gave to central government, to BJP government. Why is it that BJP MPs' lips are sealed and in 5 years the 27 MPs have not uttered a word? Had they ever uttered a word, the situation would not have been that bad today.
But BJP का ये भी allegation है कि in the 15th pay commission, it is Siddaramaiah who delayed the submissions of the state, and that is why the state is suffering today. It is because of Siddaramaiah.
Finance Minister is lying through her teeth. Finance Minister is a poor liar. It is a pity and shame that she has got elected as a Rajya Sabha member from Karnataka. May I ask her to present those documents, because they don't have any. They were Finance Minister and Amit Shah made the same statement about drought relief. But is it not correct that Karnataka deposited its claim in September 2023? That money should have come to us in October 2023. The truth is that Shri Amit Shah was Minister in charge of disaster. From October 2023 to 22nd April 2024, he has not held a meeting only. He wants to deny the drought relief to farmers. It is Siddaramaiah government which knocked the doors of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court was constrained to remind central government of the federal structure in India, and it's only after Supreme Court issued a notice on our petition to Karnataka government that they are saying, okay, we are considering now.
Sir, but what is the logical end to it? Because the state, the Supreme Court has also said that the state and centre should sit together and talk it out. Because if you don't do it, this is going to be a long-term effect for the people in the state.
Our conversation is as follows. In September end, 3 of our cabinet ministers went and met Agriculture Secretary, Home Secretary, because Union Home Minister and Finance Minister refused to meet them. After that, our Chief Minister, Mr. Siddaramaiah and Cabinet, they went and met Prime Minister in October 2023. Our Chief Minister and Ministers then met Amit Shah in October 2023. A high-powered delegation which decides on drought relief has submitted its report in September 2023. The only thing is, Home Minister Amit Shah at the instance of BJP unit of Karnataka and Mr. Modi are denying relief to Karnataka by not deciding on drought relief from National Disaster Relief Fund, which is our right. It's not, we are not begging them for money. It is the Karnataka money that is deposited in NDRF. They have to give this money to us under the law within 30 days. May I ask on your channel, why is it that for 6 months Amit Shah has not decided this claim?
So does it mean एक तरफ से ये टाइम जैसे आप चंबू लेकर आए हैं, लास्ट टाइम पे सीएम लेकर आए थे 40% पे सीएम कमीशन, does this mean that Congress has learnt or cracked the code of winning elections or at least countering the BJP? Because last time you came up with guarantees and 40% pay CM slogan. This time you've come with guarantees again, but your model is Chambu model. You've attacked the government with the Chambu in your hand. So you think you've realized or cracked the code of fighting elections?
No, basically because these are the two models. A Khali Chambu is what BJP offers to people of Karnataka. And Congress guarantees are where 1.25 crore women are getting 2000 rupees every day for Greh Lakshmi, where 35 lakh women travel free on roadways buses every day, where young girls studying law, studying engineering come and give a garland of tickets, free tickets, bus tickets to the Chief Minister. That's Shakti scheme for you. 195 crore free bus trips have happened. 4 crore 49 lakh people in Karnataka get Anna Bhagya money in their bank accounts every month. 1 crore 18 lakh households get 200 units of current free under Greh Jyoti. And in Yuva Nidhi, our children are getting for a period of 3 years post graduation and diploma 3000 every month and 1500 every month. That is a welfare state taking care of its citizen. And on the other side is Bharatiya Chambu Party, the BJP, which is doing huge injustice and enmity towards people of Karnataka.
Congress has been riding on these guarantees, and why not? You won 2 states with these guarantees. But do you really think that these guarantees can be implicated nationally? Because like you've said that there is a disparity in revenue. Like the 100 rupees that Karnataka sends, it gets 13 paisa back. And the 100 rupees that Uttar Pradesh sends, and it gets close to 50-60 paisa back. Now when there is so much revenue disparity, you think these guarantees that run successfully in the south also will resonate exactly the same way in the north?
It will be. Please remember, Prime Minister Modi came before assembly election and mocked our guarantee. Mr. Bommai and Mr. Yedurappa mocked the guarantees. They said they cannot be implemented. Siddaramaiah government, Congress government has implemented each one of those solemn promises. We promised, we delivered within 60 days. That's Congress for you. Now what have we promised nationally? Greh Lakshmi becomes Mahalakshmi. Every woman will get 8,300 rupees every month, 1 lakh rupees a year. We will deliver it. We have promised 25 lakh rupees of health insurance cover to every family in Karnataka and India. We will deliver it. We have promised complete loan waiver for Raita Bandhu. I asked Mr. Modi, you can waive 16 lakh crore of industrialist money, but you can't waive 3 lakh crore of farmers' money. Why? Congress government will do it. We have done it in the past. We'll do it again. We'll bring a MSP law. To the young, we say, we will train you, we will ensure apprenticeship, and we'll pay you for 2 years, 8,300 every month, so that TV industry, hospitality industry, IT industry, service industry, manufacturing industry, without payment of any money, they will train our children, and Government of India will pay those 8,300 rupees. We'll increase Manrega contribution to 400 rupees every day. Karnataka state government already pays 130. So in Karnataka, the wages of Manrega will be 530 per day. That's the national guarantees for you. We will transform lives, we will change the country.
Sir, BJP alleges that yours is a quick fix model. It does not have any long term solution. कि गरीबी है तो गरीबी हटा देंगे, free bus rides दे देंगे, free electricity दे देंगे. It's basically freebies. Nothing in your manifesto is a long term solution or a long term, a sustainable model for the country, and theirs is a sustainable model.
Yes, Prime Minister's plan is to sell all our airports to Mr. Adani, sell all our ports to Mr. Adani, sell all our national highways to Mr. Adani, sell the telecom sector to his own crony friends, sell the space even waves to his crony friends, sell all our mines to his crony friends. So that's his model, where one or two companies will run India. Why is it, I ask? 22 people in India have 60% of India's wealth. Is this a country? Is this the way we are going to run India? Distribution of wealth amongst people of India is our goal. We have proved it in Karnataka. Today, 3 crore households in Karnataka get almost 10,000 rupees of benefit every day, every month, 1,20,000 every year. What does this do? It is propelling our economy. Mr. Modi doesn't understand, for he has never run a kitchen. But let me tell you, if 2,000 rupees are given to a woman in Karnataka, she doesn't save that money. She buys milk with it. She buys vegetables with it. She buys paneer with it. She buys biscuits with it. She buys nutrition with it. She pays even tuition money for her children. Where does this money go? It comes back into our economy. It creates more jobs. The Kiryana shop will run, the biscuit shop will run, the other shoe shop will run, and it will create more jobs. So what we are doing is plowing money back into the system, just like we did for Manrega originally when Mr. Modi criticized it.
Sir, BJP's basic sentiment on the ground is that they have fulfilled all their promises. People say that they have fulfilled all their promises because वो बोले थे कि राम मंदिर लाएंगे, they've got the Ram Mandir. They spoke about CAA, NRC, now that is also there. They said that they'll remove 370 from Kashmir, they've removed the article 370. So all these issues is something that the BJP is taking forward, while the Congress is fighting election on Garibi Hatao, something that is like reviving an old model.
You are a young person, and I ask your viewers, what is the issue that affects and impacts your lives? Today, the issue that impacts your life is price rise and inflation. Modi made inflation. The issue that impacts us most is unemployment, which is all pervading. I ask your viewers, look into your own house. There will be a talented boy or girl, but that boy or girl is either underemployed or unemployed. That is the main problem that the country faces. The third major issue is concentration of wealth in the hands of a few. 22 people owning 60% of India's money. Is there a rationale behind it? So Modi, after 10 years, has nothing to deliver. The language that Prime Minister currently is using is shameful for the office he holds. He only has Hindu-Muslim to offer after 10 years. He has no vision for the country to offer. He has no deliverables for the country to offer. All that he has to offer is Hindu-Muslim, hatred, division, divisiveness. Where will inclusivity, development, progress, employment, price rise control, where will that go? So BJP is digressing from the core issues, for they have delivered zilch. Where are the 15 lakh rupees? Chombu. Where are the 2 crore job? Chombu. Where is double income of farmers? Chombu. Where are 100 smart cities? Chombu. Where is good governance? Chombu. Where are Achhe Din? Chombu. So it is the Bharatiya Chombu party which needs to be now thrown out into the Bay of Bengal.
So because you mentioned the Modi speech, it's also been more than a day since that speech, and we haven't still seen any action from the Election Commission with regards to that. They've said that they will not comment on this. How do you see this as an opposition?
Modi ji is attacking the constitution. BJP is attacking the constitution. This is not an election between Congress and BJP alone. This is an election to save the constitution of India. Mr. Hegde in Karnataka, Mr. Arun Govil in UP, Mr. Lallu Singh in UP, Jyoti Mirda, the BJP candidate in Rajasthan, they are all saying they will change the constitution. They will take away your rights to vote. They will take away your rights to democracy and freedom. They will take away your fundamental rights. They will take away the protections for SC, ST, OBC minorities. They will take away the essence of India. So this is an assault on the constitution of India. That's what they are trying to do. Tell me, which Prime Minister attacks his own citizens? If he had delivered something in 10 years, then he would speak about them. He can't speak about them, for all that he has done is spread hatred, has also converted a section of the populace into his nature of blame game. I think we need to come out of that and look at peace, progress, development, and a vision for India that Congress gave, and a new vision for India that Mr. Gandhi Mr. Khadge and the Congress party and India alliance is giving.
But the Prime Minister has said that there will not be any change in the constitution. He said it's like the religious book, उसमें कोई change नहीं होगा. But ये soldiers है जो बोल रहे हैं सर. वजीर तो यही कह रहा है कि constitution change नहीं होगा, जैसे आप कह रहे हैं.
May I ask, Election Commission used to be an independent body. Even Supreme Court said that Chief Justice of India, leader of opposition, Prime Minister will decide. What did the Prime Minister do? He changed the law, he overturned the Supreme Court verdict and has made it his captive. Now, Chief Prime Minister and Amit Shah decide who will be election commissioners. How will there be a fair election? That's why Election Commission is sealed, because it has become a subjugated instrument of Modi's dictatorial politics. Let me also say, what is happening to ED, what is happening to CBI in income tax, all that they are doing is targeting opposition leader and anybody speaking against Modi. May I give you an example of Karnataka? On 21st April, 2 crore rupees were caught in cash in this city. It had a BJP letterhead and a letter from Canara Bank which said we withdrew this money on 27th March 5 crore. I asked, why were they withdrawing 5 crore in cash? And from 27th March to 21st April, was this money roaming around in cars in Bangalore city? It had not reached anywhere in and when Election Commission says, if you take 50,000 rupees, if your viewers take more than 50,000 rupees, their money is confiscated. BJP can roam around with crores of rupees in their car after 1 month of withdrawal. That is okay. Is this not money laundering operation? Will income tax ever investigate it? They have all become instrument of BJP's fascism.
But you're continuously attacking the BJP. You're going to the Election Commission. If money is found in the car, you're going to the Election Commission for the language that is used. You're going to the Election Commission for poll violations. But you're not seeing any action being taken by the Election Commission. How do you see that?
Because EC, I'm very sorry to say, regrettably, has become an instrument of BJP. They are guided by what Prime Minister Modi says. But it is our duty to knock at the door of institutions. But those institutions are gradually becoming puppets of BJP. That is the sad story of India, and that's why there has to be a change in India, and that's why you need a India alliance government in India, for that's the only way to save the soul of Bharat India. That's the only way to save the soul of Constitution. Electoral bond scam is one of the biggest corruption scams in independent India. Tell me, is it not correct? BJP received 8,242 crore and encashed those electoral bonds. Why? Is it not correct that companies which were not in profit, companies which did not have salary to pay its employees, were giving crores of rupees to who? To Mr. Modi and BJP in electoral bonds. Is it not correct that companies like Mega Engineering, they were first raided, after that they are given a 14,000 crore contract and they gave nearly 800 or 1,000 crore rupees or whatever amount to the BJP. Is it not correct that there are tens and tens of companies which are raided by ED and income tax, and immediately thereafter they are given they give money in electoral bonds to BJP, or company are awarded thousands of crores of contracts, immediately thereafter they give electoral bonds money to BJP. Is this transparency or is this hafta vasuli? BJP government was doing hafta vasuli, which was exposed by the Supreme Court, and after the electoral bond scam was exposed, Prime Minister continues to shamelessly defend it. It's a corruption scam, it's a chanda do dhanda lo scam, it's a hafta vasuli scam.
Sir, BJP also raises questions on the law and order situation of the state. They say a Gunda Raj has been going on, starting from the Udupi girl video to the Hanuman flag issue, to the Jai Shri Ram issue in Vidyaranyapura, or the Neha murder that has taken place. Even a bomb blast has also happened in the state. Keeping all this in mind, it is visibly clear what the BJP is saying when it comes to the law and order situation of Karnataka.
See, BJP has nothing to say, so they try to create these divisive things. May I remind your viewers of Paresh Masta murder case. Remember when Siddaramaiah ji was Chief Minister last time, BJP created such a noise about it. What did they finally do? They used and threw the family of Paresh Mehta. And finally Modi government gave CBI report. And what did it say? Every single thing that Modi ji had said, that Yadurappa had said, that Mr. Bommai had said, that Ashwath Narayan and Ashok had said was wrong. But it took 5 years for the truth to come out. They are doing the same thing in Hubli case. May I say one thing? Neha is a daughter of Karnataka. I and Mr. Siddharamaiah were together, and our minister, Mr. H.K. Patil, was at the house of Neha talking to her father. Chief Minister spoke to her father. Neha is our daughter too. Nobody can take law in their own hands. And we have decided, the matter has been handed over to CBI. We have constituted a special court to try the accused. CID. We have handed over the case to CID, sorry. We have constituted a special court to try the Neha murder case. 90 days we will complete the trial. And we have asked, our Chief Minister has asked the public prosecutor to request the court to give capital punishment of hanging to the criminal who murdered Neha. But what is BJP doing? They are shameful. They are regrettably doing politics over murder and maligning the honor of our daughter. For heaven's sake, Mr. Nadda, Mr. Yadurappa, and also all other BJP leaders, for sake of trying to tarnish the image of the government, you are trying to tarnish the image of a family. Don't do so.
Sir, we've seen a lot of murders also that has recently happened in Bengaluru. I think close to 10 murders have happened in the last 1 month. You are trying to build a brand Bengaluru, but do you think it's shifting into a bloody Bengaluru because of the murders that have taken place here?
Let me say, I discussed in detail with Home Minister also. Bengaluru, as far as crimes are concerned, the net average is less compared to BJP, but I am not going into statistics. The important issue is, anybody who will take law in their own hands, the full force of law will come down heavily upon them. We will not let any single criminal go away. The full might of the law will ensure that they are punished, and we assure the citizens of Bengaluru and Karnataka that law and order will be ensured and enforced with full force, and you are safe and secure. Criminals will be behind bars, and they will be punished with full force of law.
Sir, ek cheez I have noticed that in 2014 when Modi ji was fighting election, he used Gujarat as a model. He said Gujarat model is something that he'll replicate in India. You copied that and you called it, we are going to bring a Karnataka model. In this election, you've come up with guarantees and the Modi ji has now replaced that and said that it is Modi ki guarantee. Even their BJP poll slogan is Modi ki guarantee is a guarantee that all guarantees will be fulfilled. How does it feel when you see BJP copying you?
May I remind your viewers, before the last assembly elections 10 months ago, Modi ji came and take out your footage of TV9. He went on repeating, guarantees are fake, guarantees are fake, guarantees are fake, they can't be implemented. Once we successfully implemented the guarantee reaching out 3 crore households in Karnataka, Modi ji had to steal our guarantee word also. So there is nothing original now. Everything is a fakery, everything is a jumla, everything is a lie. He came in 2014 with hope. Today he only represents hatred. He came in 2014 with he said he has a vision. Today only television is his vision. He came in 2014 saying that he will change India. Today he only divides India. He is a divider in chief. That's what he has become. I think he needs to introspect as a human being whether what he is doing to the country is correct and whether India is bigger than the ambition of one man seeking to anoint himself the king and be a fascist ruler like North Korea or China is the model he is trying to emulate. But these are 140 crore Indians and 6.5 crore Kannadigas. They will not let a fascist regime now survive in India at all, and Karnataka will give the first push to push Modi out of India.
South India has close to 129 seats and it's also one big chunk of the vote share. Now the Prime Minister is regularly visiting Tamil Nadu. He's pushing for schemes in Tamil Nadu. He's speaking good about Tamil Nadu. Do you think that is something that he's trying for a southern surge and trying to get more numbers for the Lok Sabha election?
May I say, I don't know why Modi ji hates the entire South India or Northeast India. Look what they did to Manipur. Tell me, in any other country where hundreds have died, where 1/3 of population of the state have become refugees in their own state, where women have been paraded naked, where Modi ji's own chief minister is the divider in chief, is actually helping militia in either surreptitiously or overtly steal arms from the armory of the police. But Prime Minister does not have time to go. Why is he inimical? Nagaland, 6 districts did not cast a single vote. That's Northeast for you. Modi ji attacks Tamil Nadu every day, Karnataka every day, Kerala every day, Andhra, Telangana every day, even Maharashtra every day. Why is he inimical to them? Why is it that Karnataka have to go and knock at the doors of the Supreme Court against Modi ji? Why is it that Tamil Nadu and Kerala governments have to go just to ask for their rights and rightful due under the law to the Supreme Court? Does it not show enmity of Prime Minister Modi and the BJP for voting out the BJP? Please do not treat South India, Northeast India and those states which elect Congress government to power, don't treat them as enemy. That's what we want to tell.
Poll analysts, observers, experts have all gone on to say that BJP has done good in Tamil Nadu, because be it from the spectre to the Prime Minister going to UN and speaking about Tamil as an old language, giving that respect that Tamil needs. He's also been seen flying to Tamil Nadu, Kerala and various parts of the South India very regularly. Do you think that these visits of the Prime Minister will help him make inroads in the state?
Modi ji is an election tourist as far as Northeast and South India is concerned. He will remember in 5 years Tamil Nadu or Karnataka for 10 days, and after that all that he will do is do everything in his right or might to deny relief, to deny money, to deny development to people of Karnataka, people of Tamil Nadu, people of Andhra Telangana, people of Kerala, people of Goa, people of Maharashtra. Why? Why this enmity? Just because they don't vote him to power, just because they don't like his ideology, just because they reject his politics of division. Why is it that you are playing vendetta against entire South Indian states?
Sir, you have an experience of both North and the South. Do you think the issues of the North or the issues of the South will have the same resonance in their parts of the country? Because imagine the fan fervor or the crowd chanting that the BJP gets with the issue of Ram Mandir. Do you think it replicates the same in South India also? Or they will be able to replicate the same in South India also?
May I ask one thing? How is it that Lord Ram can be a subject matter of politics? Lord Ram does not belong to BJP or Congress or Janata Dal. Lord Ram belongs to 140 crore people of India. Are we going to now divide Lord Ram also into a tricolor and two-color BJP flag? For heaven's sake, don't do it. Today is Hanuman Jayanti. Please don't do so. I am somebody who comes from the land of Mahabharata, from the land of Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita says, Bhagavad Gita says, let's unify with love, with compassion, with unification, and let's respect each other's religion. That's what is written in Bhagavad Gita. That's what Hinduism is all about. It is compassion. It is ensuring that everybody's pain is shared and everybody gets the best in life. Everybody respects everybody's religion and lives in harmony. That's what Hinduism is. So let's not get Lord Ram into politics. And it is the Supreme Court verdict which decided to construct Ram temple, and it is people of India who paid the money. Who is Mr. Modi? What did he do? Supreme Court verdict ensured and directed construction of a Ram temple, and people of India deposited money. So our faith we are proud of, but our faith cannot be a subject matter of governing India. India will be governed on issues of unemployment, on issues of price rise, on issues of a strong currency, on issues of a strong economy, on issues of development and progress. And when I go to a temple, I will bow my head and pray that the entire India should progress. That's what India's beauty is.
So basically you're trying to say that the South will not give them the numbers that they are expecting.
Modi ji's balloon has been punctured in North India also. Please mark my words, write it down somewhere. Modi ji's balloon's puncture has begun in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, in Telangana and Chhattisgarh, in Haryana and Punjab, even in Gujarat. So that balloon has been punctured by us North Indians, and we know that North Indians, South Indians, East Indians, West Indians will rise in unison to demand that India is compassion, India is love, India is unity, India is its diversity, India is that I have a different color, you have a different color, yet we are brothers, yet we work together. I also speak a few words of Kannada, and you speak a few words of Haryanvi, and we smile together. That's what India is. Mr. Modi is trying to divide our smiles, our aspirations, our hopes, and fill our hearts with hatred. I think that must change.
So you are saying that Modi ji is dividing the country. He is saying all this to bring a divide between the people. But on the other hand, there are people who agree to what he is saying. There is an audience, there is a vote bank, and they agree to every word that the Prime Minister is saying.
That is the sad part. India is not on sale. Mr. Modi feels India is on sale. India's ethos are not on sale. India's spirit is not on sale. India's generational antiquity of love and compassion is not on sale. India's fundamentals are not on sale, and no amount of hatred or division can buy India's love and compassion. We say the entire world is our family. Vasudev Kutumkum. That's the slogan that Hinduism has given to this country. Not India, the whole world is our family. Sadly, Mr. Modi writes it but never believes it, because he wants to divide every caste, every community, every religion, every region, and in creating 1,000 or 1,000,000 divisions, he believes he will get anointed as the king. But I don't think so. A chair is worth dividing, lacerating the soul of India.
So you have said 20 plus, exactly like the way you're saying, more than 20 plus. So that means if your leaders have not managed to get what they've promised, like 20 plus seat, will we see a change in leadership in Karnataka?
See, these are all speculations and I reject them. But let me say, every single Congress worker, MLA, our ex-MLAs, MLCs, defeated candidates, our party cadre, they have given their best. And we are confident that Kannadigas will bless Congress, will bless Rahul Gandhi, will bless Mallikarjun Kharge, and will bless the Congress guarantees, and will bless good governance, and will bless the Karnataka model.
So people don't have to worry, Siddaramaiah will be there for 5 more years.
As I said, we are not a party of individuals. Mr. Siddaramaiah or Randeep or DK Shiv Kumar, we all three of us don't matter. Ultimately, what matters is 6.5 crore Kannadigas. They are the gods and drivers of this government. And as long as we have their support and blessings, all of us are immaterial. We are only cog in the wheels to deliver what is necessary in the benefit of the people. We are not like Mr. Modi, who wants to be anointed as a fascist king forever. We are people who are servants of the people. Mr. Siddaramaiah is a servant of the people. Mr. DK Shiv Kumar is servant of the people. And there are multiple other leaders in the Congress party. All of us bow to serve. And that's what the humility of a Kannadiga is.
Sir, BJP has this one-line slogan, Char So Par. What is Congress's one-line slogan?
जिनको 150 पार नहीं हो रहा, वो 400 पार का जुमला घड़ रहे हैं। ये मुंगेरी लाल के हसीन सपने हैं और इस गुब्बारे को इस देश के साधारण व्यक्ति ने फोड़ दिया है। केवल नतीजा आने तक इंतजार करिए।
Well, thank you so much, sir. Let's see how much of your prophecies are fulfilled in the future. We'll be keeping a watch. Thank you so much for talking to us.